Hello, fine, beautiful people. Hope you're having a fantastic day today. Now that we're over this Arctic weather. Wow, it got cold for a while. I wasn't digging that too much. I respect it. I appreciate it. I know it has a purpose. But I love living in the South. Can wait for some fine, beautiful people like yourself to collect. Yep. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Corey. I was just fiddling with this microphone, trying to get everything right, checking levels. Boy, technology. Whew. Sometimes it's hard to keep up. Hello, Jennifer. Corey says, sounds clear. Thank you, Co. Boy, you are a working man. Love it. I know that you'd see exactly what the title of this broadcast is. Happiness is cool, but I'm in it for the bliss. Join me. Corey is my nephew, and he works. And though his career is about working in construction, he doesn't really work per se. He's in it for the joy that it brings him. He has a phenomenal position, makes phenomenal money. He's a phenomenal human being. Corey's in it for the bliss. Jennifer says, I am here with my friend Alex, who says, hello. Hello, Alex. Corey says, hello, uncle. Dig it. Just got some new equipment. Always new equipment. And decided to do a broadcast today. I brought my little boy home, and someone triggered an inspiration in me that is about living in bliss. Being happy is awesome. Happiness is a great goal, and that's cool. And if you can only reach happiness for now in your life, I'm happy for you. That is really, really cool. I want just a little bit more. And when I mean want, I mean I'm reaching for the golden ring. The unreachable is reachable. You just have to stretch a little further. You have to stretch that muscle a little bit further. Jennifer says, Alex needs some love sending here. Alex needs some love sending here. Her way. Here, her way. So you put an extra E. Alex needs some love sending her way, so I'm showing her you. Keith, where's your reading today? Hello, Alex. I wish you much bliss, dear. Let me check my YouTube page real quick, see if anyone's there. Not yet. So I'm going to pay attention to Facebook. Give it a couple of more minutes, 3 more minutes for people to collect. I'm looking like this because I'm dodging camera stands and all kinds of things. Give me a moment. So, Jennifer, I'm going to have you on my new show, Head to Head, Heart to Heart. Raw conversation, connecting realities. This is more from the platform of not an interview. It's more of two people going at it, head to head, heart to heart. I wouldn't say necessarily a debating kind of way, but that is allowed. Meaning, you know, if you say something, and I want you to pause right there because I don't want you to continue on. Because to me, what you said is a very cool, juicy nugget. I'm going to politely interrupt you, say, whoa, 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 stop right there. Expound on what you just said. And that is allowed vice versa on this side of the fence. Because I want this to be very, very organic. Very organic. And I think a lot deeper truths will come out or will be birthed in this back and forthness versus politely waiting to the end of a sentence kind of thing. I want to keep it raw. We like raw. That's where the magic happens versus things being so polished and refined. That's the whole purpose of this particular show. Head-to-head, heart-to-heart. I did my first head-to-head, heart-to-heart with my marketing director, Miss Renee Brown. And Jennifer, you're either going to be next, which will be Tuesday, or the following Tuesday, because I had someone already in queue and I'm waiting to hear from them whether they can make that particular Tuesday, which is the coming Tuesday, or not. And if they can't make it, then I will contact you and we'll get right at it and go head to head and heart to heart. So just a heads up before I get going with this broadcast. I live in a guest house, and about 75 feet in front of me is the main house. And they have two big dogs, and they're likely going to come to the back of this house, the front of this house, and begin to bark. That's what they do. They just love barking at a bunch of nothing. And believe me, Mr. Spiritual here, it can be trying sometimes, especially when I'm doing broadcasts. So I have to find my peace within. Take a good listen. Maybe you can hear them going at it. Maybe not. Let me do a quick refresh to see who's here so I can acknowledge everyone, and we'll get started. I have no idea what I'm going to speak about, except that liberation is what every being in the universe seeks. It's what every being in the universe craves. It's what every being in the universe, it's what they're wanting. We're all wanting liberation. And in that liberation is the bliss, and in the bliss is the liberation. All right, let's get started with the broadcast. We'll wait for everyone. Everyone will show up when they show up, when it's divine. When it's divine, when it's on divine purpose, everyone will be here, or whoever those everyone may be. If Corey's still here, thanks for sticking around, Corey. Alex and Jennifer, my new dear friend, who I love her work. My God, you kicked my ass for Center of Light Radio when I did that interview with you. Liberation is what every being seeks. The question I pose to you now is, are you having some sense of liberation, and at least for now, joy in your life? When I say joy, I don't mean intermittently here and there. Do you have an ongoing stream of at least any joy to any degree, to any level in your life? And if not, the second question I pose to you is why? Take that question in. It is your life. That very simple question is your life. And it's why you were born. It is your destiny. It is your life purpose. It is your mission. And it is my goal by the time we come to the end of this broadcast that I will hand you enough nuggets, enough spiritual morsels, that there will be a window open for you, light at the end of the tunnel, and you will at least be able to see with some degree of clarity that you are not here by some random event, that you are here with the purpose, and that's to be illuminated with intense spiritual fire and bliss and passion and joy. Think about that question while I step away and get some water for the moment. Am I living with any degree, to any degree, an ongoing state of joy? What was your answer? It's rhetorical. It's not necessary that you bring it up. How does one suppose living in ongoing states of joy? I'm going to increase that in a little bit. I'm going to go from spurts of joy and happiness to bliss, into deeper levels of bliss, to where we begin to break out of the meat suit. That our happiness is not about the outside world. It can be. We like things. I like things. Don't let anybody fool you that things are not fun and that things are not cool and that things in the outside world cannot represent, reflect to you, reflect to you any expressions of your ongoing joy. Someone is fibbing to you if they tell you that. Because if we're spiritual beings, we're not only, in fact, that's the point. We're not confined to the body. Though our essence is here, though we live and dwell here, and though our Creator lives here, and we're not separate from Creator because Creator and I begin to amalgamate at some point within the spiritual path of the interior. God is omnipresent. It means it's everywhere. So if I'm connected to my Creator, it means I am everywhere, and my joy lies everywhere. The outside world has a phenomenal divine purpose. It's because it reflects to us our spiritual status and where we are. Some people need to see that reflection as a gauge, as a measurement stick, to see exactly how they are doing. And that is allowed in the arena of spiritual development and spiritual expansion. So what you do is, as you look outside, you may find something phenomenal about yourself. You may find something not so phenomenal about yourself, but yet again, it is phenomenal about yourself because you're now using that to refine your process to move you into greater degrees of said joy. The third question I'm bringing to you is, are you living your passion, even for moments at a time? Are you living your passion, even for moments at a time? Take that in. Pose that question to your higher self. Pose that question to your egoic mind. Am I living my passion to any degree? Hello, Chad. Good to see you, sir. So the question I just posed is, are you living your passion to any degree? I understand coming from one particular mindset. Some people come from an older world paradigm, and that's okay. But have you found it within yourself to be able to bring yourself to a space of living your passions? If you like handling flowers, have you considered being a florist? Well, Keith, I'm at the age right now in my life that it's too old for me to go to school in botany. That's an excuse, and you know it. Maybe you can get a job at a floral shop just handling flowers, because it's the first step that you could be taking to bring you into a state of alignment to where those very things that you thought were impossible, going to school and learning about your craft, because you're now taking the incentive, the initiative to move forward into your bliss. You don't have to know how to do it. That's the universe's job. The universe will provide the way and open the golden door. So maybe it takes you just to get a small job at doing something you love, that hopefully one day you can achieve the pinnacle of your passion. You might be handling the flowers, and someone in the shop sees that you do very good work. You're always on time, that you don't even take sick days, and they love your fire. They love that you love what you do, and now you get promoted to manager. Somehow you get grandfathered in, and you don't have to go to school. Someone begins to teach you the whole dance about being a florist without you ever stepping foot in a school. Be it a musician, be it an artist. So the last question I pose is, are you taking on, for at least moments of a time at a time, living your passion? If you're not, you are slowly and surely, and it'll incrementally speed up, making your way into an early grave. And what I mean by grave, I don't mean physical death, But that can't apply because on all levels, you are expressing to the universe, I am not happy being on this physical earth plane. These are all vibrations that Creator says, here's more of that. Creator doesn't judge. Creator loves unconditionally, says, I love you. And if you're telling me on any level, because vibration is the universal language, it's not English, that you want off the planet, we begin to create our demise, our mortality. This is what begins to happen. So the more you step into the arena of your passion, the more you get to express your joy for being on this planet. And we have 7 chakras, which many of you know. And the one at the base of the spine is the root chakra. And when this one becomes out of balance and closed because you're not living in your bliss, in your joy, in your happiness, living your passion, all the other chakras will not function properly. So my point of saying that you increase the idea of your mortality is because I'm not happy. I'm just not happy here. Just not happy here. And in a way, that is a death. Some people live to be 80 plus whatever years old, and they have already died. Some people are very youthful, and they find their passion very early. And when they do have physical death knocking on their door, they have no regret. They are ready to transition because they're bringing all this fire because they know that life is good, life is purposeful, life has been graceful to them. And they know on some intuitive level that they will be able, that they will carry this level of spiritual fire with them wherever they go. And so they have no fear about their mortality because they know who they are, because their whole life or at any point in your life, when you begin to move into your passion and the door opens up, you're congruent, you're aligned. You know that physical death is an illusion because you're connected. You're connected. You don't have to know it intellectually. And you don't have to understand, oh wait, I think I'm actually connected, so I'm no longer afraid of death. That becomes a part of who you are when you're living in your passion. Your fear of death just flees from you. It just simply disappears. Simply just disappears. Hello, Linda. So Chad asked the question, is there a way for me to subscribe to your channel thing so I can get updates when you're doing a live video and I always just happen on you randomly? Well, Chad, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you for supporting me. Yes, you can go to youtube.com/Center of Light Radio, where you will find these broadcasts live, or you can look in this forum and you will see notify me when Keith goes live. That will do it as well. You can also go to facebook.com/Bursts of Light. And that's plural, Bursts of Light. So these are a few ways to find me when I do these live broadcasts. Thank you very much, Chad, for your kindness and your support in what I'm doing. And Chad, I did get your, of course you know that, your Facebook inbox messages to me, and I didn't respond and reply. On purpose. Because there's more inherent in what you asked and what you said, and I don't want to do that and just dialoguing with you text-wise. If you want to have a conversation with me about the things you posed, I'll be more than happy to talk with you about that. It deserves that because I don't like sullying or soiling my work with such notions or ideas. Because not only does my work and myself, but also you deserve my undivided attention so you can feel me and hear me and experience my heart and my passion about what I do, which is my fire that opens up the floodgate for me that makes me no longer afraid of mortality. See how that all just unfolded right there, Chad? It's purposeful that you're here to bring this through to help me with this broadcast. I appreciate you, bro. So are you living your passion at all? Are you finding, everyone has found moments here and there of joy in their life. But is there a consistent pattern of when your joy does show up? Once a week? Twice a month? A certain day of the week? A certain hour of the day? These are all patterns. And when you begin to recognize these patterns, then you begin to find the code and the intervals and the frequency. And I don't only mean frequency as in vibrational frequency. I mean in frequency as in how often they happen. How often they happen. If your happiness and joy is hit and miss, think about the words I use. Hit and miss. Hit and miss. I'm going to say it again. And think about those two words. Is your joy and happiness coming in spurts, but hit and miss? We heard that as a cliche term, but it's very valid for the point of this broadcast. When are you hitting and when are you missing? And the word hit is not the right term either, but it did make a point. So let's change the word hit to when are you consciously engaging? Because when you consciously engage is when you will find the missing of it all begin to dwindle. Keith, I just can't seem to make sense of this. I hear what you're saying, but I don't think I can. And like, what is it, Henry Ford? Not Henry Ford, the guy, not Henry Ford. What was his name? The guy who invented the cars. Whatever his name is it Henry Ford? He said, if you think you can't, you are right. If you think you can, you are right. I support you in taking on your passion for moments at a time, if that's all you can do right now. And as you lean into the window of your purpose and your destiny, and the reason you were born, because if you are love, when you perform love, when you allow love to come through, which is those things you would love to do, then you're allowing Creator to come inside of you via those things you love to do. And the doors by natural law begin to open. This door opens first. This is the primary door because you are the primary key to opening the primary door. And when you take yourself as the primary key component, as the primary key, and you put it in said lock, and you unlock it, and you allow the divine highway to move through you, the divine road would become visible. Moments at a time is all that is required. Moments at a time. But I get it, Keith. I am doing it already at moments at a time. Then increase it. But I can't. Guess what? You are right. But I think I'm going to do that, actually. I'm going to find ways to do it. Guess what? You are right. You are on purpose. And you will find those things that block you from doing it ongoingly, and more often than not, simply removed from your experience. Liberation is what every being in the universe seeks. I am blessed. I am a blessed, grateful man. I spent a wonderful, beautiful weekend with my beautiful boy. I don't have to worry about a job. I don't have to worry about eking out money via a job. Though I do eke out earning a living, or seek in. You can either you can either eke out or you can either seek in earning my living, doing the things I love, playing music, doing this broadcast right now, doing Center of Light Radio, now doing this new radio media platform called Head to Head, Heart to Heart. So I am imploring you, suggesting, supporting you, raising you up to the level that you can, and you should, you could, you oughta. Make your passion your number one priority, regardless of what other people think. Oh my God, are you actually going to quit your job? If that's something you feel that you need to do to move into the best window of your life, do it. regardless of what anyone else thinks, because what anyone thinks about you is none of your damn business. Because that is called self-judgment and projection. I don't want to sit here and judge myself because I'm worried what people are thinking about me. I'm going to dump it on them. So now I'm worried about what they're thinking because I don't want to own responsibility of self-judgment. So I wonder what they're thinking about me and the choices I make for myself. That is a piss poor way to live one's life. Piss poor. If you need to get out of the house and you don't have makeup on, and that's the quickest way for you to go do that thing that you love doing, do it. Don't worry what people think because it's none of your business. Because who knows? Maybe they're not thinking about you at all. And that begins to move to a state of arrogance. That I'm worried what people think. And I'm right in worrying what people think. This is all slavery. Chad says, a new thing on regular radio, not the internet radio. No, Chad, I hopefully one day, I move into the window of being on terrestrial radio. I love the idea of being on terrestrial radio over the airwaves. It's a wonderful idea. But I am very, very, let's use the word content. But I'm very, very joyful about the message that I'm able to bring forth and to the audience that I'm able to play with. Right now, this shows 3 or 4 people in the room. This is going to graduate in a couple of days to hundreds. But when I do Center of Light Radio, by the way, we're going to start thanking Chad again for allowing me to go into another window of dialogue. Chad, you're a catalyst, bro. You're very good at it. Maybe that's something you can consider for yourself, a catalyst. You're that for me, that's for sure. Center of Light Radio is now in its 3rd and a half year. Beginning of February, March, we're going to start the beginning of the month, to increase Center of Light Radio to 2 hours. And now we're doing video as well. Check this out. All these Burst of Light live videos I'm doing is going to supply Center of Light Radio with its first hour. Video-wise, audio-wise, all over the world, YouTube-wise, not only with my YouTube channel, but with Inception Radio Network's YouTube channel, which has hundreds and hundreds of thousands of viewership. Center of Light Radio now has my personal radio platform. Has probably now, because October was time for my new stats, which I hadn't received. But I was receiving over 500,000 viewership per 6 months. So right now, because now everything is also going video, I have no doubt that my listenership audience of Center of Light Radio is over 5 million. I am living my passion. I am reaching the people I want to reach so they can receive the message I want to teach. Thank you again, Chad, for that. Hello, Melanie. Good to see you, dear. Are you joyful in your life 24/7? And it's okay if you're not. I'm not judging that whatsoever. But what I am supporting you in doing is stimulating you by asking you, why? Why aren't you joyful and blissful 24/7? Let me refresh the page. I want to see who's here. Thank you for joining me. So, Alex, I'm assuming that Jennifer introduced you to me about this broadcast. Is there a question, Alex, that you would like to bring through that I can maybe shed some light on for you, dear? So again, the question I pose, are you just happy and blissful? Let's get excuses out of the way. Mind you, it may be a good excuse. I hear you. But the back end of that statement is still the word excuse. EX, which X's out. C-U-S-E. Excuse. Get rid of the X. Then you're left with C, you see. Right? So I had no agenda today. It came to me, happiness is cool, but I'm going for bliss. When you delve inside of yourself and ask these sorts of questions, am I happy? And the response says, no, then it's very apparent and obvious to you that work needs to be done. / play. I would say lean more into the play side of it than the work. We are all children at heart, and children love to play. No child wants to stop their play day and go help their father or parents in the yard of doing yard work. Maybe it's time to play more. And if asking the question of yourself, am I joyful? Not as often as I could be. Don't fall into excuse. If the answer is not stimulated from within, when you ask yourself, am I joyful? As often and as much as I could be. Do the mirror technique. Stand in front of a mirror. Stand in front of a full-length mirror, the biggest mirror you can find. Take a few deep breaths. Look yourself in the eyes. Be honest with yourself and just ask yourself, am I as joyful or as blissful as I could be? And the answer crops up and says, no, I'm not. Or no, you're not. Who is that person doing the answering? Who is that person doing the asking? Seems like a split, but it's not. The divine egoic mind, us, is the one that poses the question. Your divine self, it says, you're not as blissful as you can be. You in spirit. And there's a level in between where we begin to unify. And so God does speak to everyone. So the question you pose is, am I as joyful as I can be? Of course, the answer is going to be no if you're not. Then you pose the question, what could I be doing that will ensure more joy in my life? And it happens just like that. Try it. The answer will come through immediately. Well, you could be playing more guitar. Or you could be taking that journey out of town that you've been promising yourself. God speaks to you immediately. God does not favor anything. God does not favor or despise anyone. It doesn't work that way. God's job is to unconditionally love and positively support you in everything you think, feel, and choose. And when we begin to choose bliss, liberation, because that's what every being in the universe seeks, the doors begin to open. The doors begin to open. And when we step through the threshold and begin to walk the path, we reach the destination. We will never reach the destination until we put the key component, you are the key, into the lock to open the door, to be able to cross the threshold of the golden door and reach for what seems to be the unreachable. It's unreachable as long as we do nothing. It's unreachable as long as we do nothing. Take this time in your life to reflect. Find where you had those bumps and bruises. Find where you had those breaks in your body when life has just truly just broken you. Think about the times you had physical breaks when you broke your arm. What happened a few months just before that brought this experience into your life for you to be broken? Only for you to refine yourself, to find yourself and refine yourself in moments of repair. To move into repair, to move into wholeness, to repair yourself into wholeness. And as you begin to show intent inwardly and to move into wholeness, getting out of the monkey mind, the ooh-ah-ah noise of the monkey mind, the egoic mind, and says, yak, yak, yak from the devil, yak, yak, yak from the angel, because we know this is the devil, but are we absolutely sure this is not the same devil in disguise? It's noise. You put the key into the door, the cosmic womb to the Stargate, and fall. This is the trick. Learning how to fall deeper within yourself. It's not really necessarily a work. It's not from the mindset, because it's not a mindset at all. And it's not really per se a heart set, because you don't want to set on the heart. You want to fall into the heart. You have to jump. In a meditation, lay down and breathe and just imagine yourself jumping off of a cliff into what you would call the abyss. We call it the abyss because it's the unknown. And the unknown does often stimulate fear in people. But you have to trust that when you jump out of that airplane, that perfectly good airplane, Keith, this is crazy. I know it's crazy. That's why it's so magical. Trust that the parachute will open and your divine parent will catch you. Not only will it catch you, it will support you and lift you back up above the mountain. You will have triumphed the mountain. The one that you thought was so large and so big and so would not allow you to live in liberation, bliss, and joy. It's an illusion. Take these models, these words I'm offering to you. Begin to move into the window of your joy. Begin to leave the effort, struggle, and strain, and stress, and work behind. Begin to play like a child. Begin to live like a child. Be childlike. Be the child. Live in awe. Live in bliss. Live in wonderment. Dear Lord, live in wonderment. Think about that word, living in wonderment. The wonderment and the awness of a child. A child does not live in, oh my gosh, I got to get up and go to work and do this task that brings me hopefully enough money to pay my bills. Hopefully I can have some playtime with my friends on the weekend. On Friday and Saturday and Sunday, I have to go back to prepare for this 9-to-5 grind. That is slavery. Unless you enjoying your life as it is, then by all means you're living it. You're living it. You're living in the bliss. And I'm not saying that your bliss and your passion and your joy cannot show up as a 9-to-5 or 8-to-4 or whatever the time clock is. Keith, I've always wanted to travel. Maybe check out the possibility of being a tour guide, a travel guide. Are you willing to take that risk? Because in that risk is everything. It's getting out of the box. We know it's in the box. We've had some magic, but now it's stale and complacent and stagnant and procrastination. Well, if you're not having any more magic, it's commonsensical that we have to get out of the box. When you open the box, it's where everything is at. But it can be so scary. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. I'm going to take some water, see if anyone has any questions you might want to bring through. Chad asked the question, how does one find light in the midst of depression? Chad, I hear that. I hope that's not the case for you. Doesn't matter. But whoever is living in depression, first thing you can realize is you are living in the past, consciously or unconsciously. Depression is from the past. Anxiety is of the future. How does one find light in the midst of the depression? One should begin to look for the light in the midst of depression. I had depression, so it gives me the license to speak about it. Look for the light in the midst of your depression. I've tried that, Keith, but I've had no success. My next suggestion would be, ask yourself if what I'm looking for represents light at all. Or does it represent some sort of erroneous self-fulfillment? If you're truly looking for the light, we may call that said light, or boyfriend or girlfriend that left us because they represent all that was joyful to me. And I hope they come back. And because they're gone right now, I am depressed. That's not light. That's still living in the darkness. That's still living in the fear. Really choosing the light means I'm in a bout of depression. Not that I am depressed. You don't want to affirm that you are depressed, because I am is the two most powerful words that can follow each other, and affirms and plants into your experience more of what you just affirmed by saying, I am depressed. No, I've been experiencing depression, or I've had depression. These are the modalities and the ideas that you now choose. So the light does likely, if you are depressed and can't find the light nor your way out of it, at least at this juncture in your life, choose to realize and or accept that. Obviously, at this point in my life, I guess I'm really not sure what the heck light really is. In that statement alone, you are opening the door for the light to be able to come in. Because if you knew the way out, you would be out of it. And because if you're not out of it, then you don't know the way out of it. Letting go of the light of what you thought was the light, the relationship, the job that you had for 20 years, living in this lifestyle that paid you 6 figures that is now gone from your experience. If you're hoping that comes back because you're looking for the light in the tunnel, you're not going to find it. You're going to be constantly dwelling in the misery of what you've lost versus what you are and who you are, which dwells in here. The light dwells here. The light never dwells there. The light will begin to dwell there when you begin to dwell and focus on the light that is here. The gate, the stargate, God is the light. It's that which lives within everyone. It's that very thing, that very force that wants to move through you and bring you that joy, that happiness, that liberation, that bliss that you desire and deserve, which is your destiny. If you are battling with depression and or anxiety, I am your go-to guy, and I will be with you in it all the way, and I will not leave you until you are out of it. I will help you find the light. Because if you can't find it, and you've tried this, and you've tried that, and you've tried this, and you've tried that, and you can't find it, then obviously the power tools you are using, or hopefully are power tools, are not working. Because they are erroneous tools. Being happy, being joyful, being blissful for the sake of is the key. I no longer require that on the outside. I'm no longer focused on the past because I'm in depression. I'm no longer anxious about the future because now I have anxiety. That is not where joy, happiness, and bliss dwells. It dwells in the now moment. And once you get really, really good at just being present, in your hyper presence, you now have it in your hand. And you'll be able to wield it. And you're able to manipulate it. And you'll be able to spin it. And you're able to massage it. And it takes on a new tone. And next thing you know, new feelings are able to come into your experience with frequency. Not only frequency as in vibration, but frequency as in oftenness, and how quick they begin and often they happen in your life. That sort of frequency as well. So when you be able to change your frequency, your vibration, then they will begin to frequently happen in your life. And then you begin to see yourself as currency, as money, because now you are living in a current, and the currency begins to happen. They begin to frequently happen. Your value goes up because it's like money. Your value, your appreciation level goes up because now you know what is valuable. It ain't the past that I'm dwelling on that some son of a bitch did this to me when I was a child. Or I'm scared that the same son of a bitch in a different guise is going to do this to me in the future. That is not value. That is blame. That is judgment. That is living in an erroneous reality. That is not reality. That was the past. This is the future, which haven't even happened yet. This is where the currency is. This is where the current flows. This is where your appreciation level shoots through the roof. It helps you to climb the mountain that seemed like such a monumental task, and it's not. Because when you allow appreciation to be in your heart and in your mind and in your experience, the mountains will move. The depression will exponentially leave. It will dissipate. Realize that if you're having depression, you are focused, you consciously or not, on the past. In fact, it's the reason you're having depression is because you are living in your past unconsciously. Because once you become conscious of it, then you become the master of it, and you can wield it in, you can mold it into a little animal. You can mold it into a building. It's like Legos. You can shape it and mold it into whatever you want when you become conscious. Because when you're not conscious, you are a slave. Hence the title or the subtitle of this broadcast: Liberation is what every being in the universe seeks. That doesn't mean every being. It actually means most of us. There are beings in this universe who are living in cosmic bliss, who are living in liberation. Hence, my friend Chad posted in my PM box on Facebook. He and I will talk about that. I'm going to refresh to see who's here and if there are any new questions. Hello, Sue dear. Good to see you. Chad, that was a very good question, sir. You are really a catalyst for me. You help stimulate a river of information in me, and I really appreciate your presence. Catalyst. Can you hear the dog now? Listen, check him out. Maybe his owners called him in. So again, Chad did pose the question, how does one find light in the midst of depression? You have to understand what light is. And let's take it even further than understanding. Drop that understanding just by simple intention. Drop your understanding and your awareness of what you want as understanding here. Just drop it. Just let it fall here. That's it. You did it. Well, Keith, that sounds just so silly and goofy. I can accept silly and goofy. How's non-silliness and non-goofiness working for you if you're depressed or have anxiety? I'm not poking fun at you. I love you, and I'm trying to raise you through a scenario that could be kicking you in your pants. I can accept silly and goofy. If my mentor many years ago told me to eat dog crap for 2 weeks, and Keith, I promise you it'll help you out of your depression, I wanted it. Not the dog crap, but I was willing to do whatever it took to get me out of the situation I was in. That kind of choosing is what will open the divine door. Whatever it takes is what will help one find the light when one's heart is stifled and suffocated by the mind. I'm willing to do what it takes. God will pay you a visit. When God came to me audibly, in my sight, in my feeling base, in my smelling base, in my taste, and I was submersed in absolute divine presence in 1996, in June, about 6 o'clock in the morning, and said, "Good morning, Keith, it's time for you to wake up." It woke me out of my sleep, but it meant it's time for you to open up and wake up, Keith, and get out of your human slumber, out of your spiritual bereftness. Because I wanted it. Because I was willing to eat that dog crap. Or anything anyone was willing to feed me. Like some medicine doesn't go down so well. Because truth is not a band-aid. It's not a tincture. It's not a salve. It's not, it's not a candy. It's meant to split you open. It's meant to knock you on the head. To knock you off of your center. So you can find yourself and refine yourself to a state of equilibrium. So you expand. So new truth comes along and knocks you off your center. And you're wobbly. And nobody likes being wobbly. So second nature says, I need to control myself. So we do the work. And we recenter. And this is the ongoing process and progress of spiritual expansion. When you choose to allow whatever it takes, even, dear Lord, if it goes against the grain of what you were taught. God is beyond what you were taught. God is beyond what you believe. Because no matter what it is you believe, please hear me in the no, please hear me. No matter what it is you believe, right, wrong, good, bad, in, out, hot, cold, holy, or blasphemous, it is a belief. And there is no way out of this conundrum that I'm going to pose to you. There's no way you cannot agree that God does not exist beyond your belief. That is infinity. Because your belief, no matter what it is still confining the divine to a box. Hence the reason when I said, I am willing to do whatever it takes beyond what I believe for liberation and peace and salvation. Then we've opened ourselves up to the hilt. And then we begin to dwell in the divine Hilton. It's called cognitive dissonance. When something is brought to your awareness that goes against your core belief. And the egoic mind does not want you to participate in said truth that was brought to your attention, even though you understand it to be real and the truth. But some part of the egoic mind says, don't you dare allow yourself to go there. It's called cognitive dissonance. A dissonance, I will not allow myself, and it's violent. It's violence. I'm not going to allow myself, which creates a violent energy, an aggravation, an agitation, to allow myself to slow down enough and amalgamate, to unify with this truth. It's called cognitive dissonance. Because it does not resonate with the core belief, and one does not allow themselves the miracle that can be birthed by saying, I don't know how to find the light in depression. I don't know how to find the light in anxiety. Show me what it is. Show me. That's how you do it. That's how you move into bliss. If you only have happiness and joy right now, good for you. That's awesome. Awesome. And I'm not browbeating or trivializing your level of joy. I'm not. I'm just offering you another way to increase your joy, increase your joy, until you're truly living in divine fire, divine, passionate fire. And you do that simply not by working your ass off. You do it by intending, by being sincere and passionate, by saying, I surrender. I give up. Give up not meaning I'm throwing in the towel and That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about opening the door on that airplane and jumping out of it and surrendering. And saying, I give up. And what's the worst that happens if you parachute down open? You are not going to die. You may transition into another experience, but you're not going to die. I'm not suggesting or supporting you doing something stupid. That's not the intention or the point being made here. But last night, when you had that dream or that nightmare, and that bear was chasing you to eat your ass, you know why you ran? As fast as you can? Because you thought it was real. But when you came out of the sleep, you were in a state of reality. And you could even have told yourself, oh my God, I literally could have stand there and let that bear maul me. And I would have awakened this morning. Or you could have stand there with the intentions of letting the bear maul you. And the dream experience would have shifted just like that. The bear would have just disappeared and for whatever reason saw your confidence in being steadfast and planted within yourself. He couldn't understand that, and in the dream experience went somewhere else, and the dream experience itself could have turned and went to another place entirely, to another level reality, to another level entirely. Your life works this way. This is a horrible experience I'm having in my metaphorical, physical, open-eyed life. So I'm going to stand in it and allow myself to trust and fall. And the metaphorical bear that's been kicking your awakened, open-eyed life ass turns and goes somewhere else. I surrender. I may be broke for a while, but it is going to change. How do I know that? Because you know that. It's innate in everyone. Everyone knows that there is a divine order to things. And it lives in you. And you know it. You know it. And you also know that it's the mind that we wrap so tightly. And we won't let go. We won't let go. Let go. Dear Lord, let go. Move into your bliss. Move into your passion. Don't worry what anyone else thinks, because what they think is none of your business. It's none of your business. None of your business. Give me one moment. You bet, Chad. You're a good man. So I'm going to do one more refresh. Chad says, wait a moment. Let me sneeze. Cough. Chad says, good advice. Thank you, Chad. Any tips on lucid dreaming? It's the same thing all across the board. You have to want it. You have to lay down when you sleep. When you lay down and sleep at night and you go to sleep. It's just something I choose, man. I choose because it's cool. And seeing my deceased loved ones in another experience would be just so freaking cool. Having a red Ferrari in my physical awakened open-eyed life would be just so cool. Experiencing the partnership of a loved one that I could be in relationship would just be so cool. Having a new job would just be so cool. Having the peace and the bliss within inside of me that brings all that stuff to me is really cool. And that's the thing, the gig, the gate that has to open before all that stuff out here happens. Your outside life is just a reflection. Now, when it comes to lucid dreaming, though all of that takes place internally, it's the same, outer to inner, as above, so below. I just truly want to be awake, not only in my open-eyed life, because right now my eyes are open. It does not mean that I'm awake. I want to be awake internally, even when my body is resting on the bed. Now, when you can be awake in your open-eyed life, and you can be awake in your internal experiences, and it's seamless to where you're no longer experiencing hiccup when you fall asleep, only to come to a state of awake or consciousness. That's called enlightened. You don't ever fall asleep. Swamiji Viswayogi does not fall asleep. Satya Sai Baba, these beings do not fall asleep. Yeshua ben Joseph, better known as Jesus Christ, these beings did not fall asleep. They do not fall asleep. That is the trick. That is the whole point of being here. That is the whole point of their example of the life that they have given us. They don't want to be God over us. They want us to be God and share the experience with us. Hence the reason Christ influenced Christians. Hence the reason Buddhist monks and Buddha influence Buddhist monks and people who follow the Buddhist path. It's about being awake. And when we become awakened to the gate, to the lucidity, not only in lucidity in dreaming, but the lucidity of life, of being aware of the now, not the past, and dwelling in any form of depression, active depression, or even unconscious depression, or unconscious anxiety, or conscious anxiety. When we dwell in the now, we open the gate, begin to live our passion, begin to say, whatever it takes for liberation, you will expand into who you really are. And your liberation will look very nice on you when you step out into public and begin to mingle with other people. And they will want some of what you got. And the world changes one person at a time. And the divine movement becomes successful. That is my broadcast for you about living in bliss, living in joy, and living in peace. If you want to contact me at KeithAnthonyBlanchard.com, you will see RPM program. Click on that red Ferrari. It'll take you to my lifelong work. I will give you a free session. Send me an email at KeithAnthonyBlanchard@gmail.com. Say, Keith, I would love a free session with you. You got it. That RPM course will tell you what you get and what you will create. Check it out. You have nothing to lose. It's my lifelong work. I promise I will stay in it with you. You get one-on-one consultation time with me as often as you need. It'll set you on fire. Also, you can like my YouTube channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Center of Light Radio. Subscribe, give me thumbs up on my archived views, leave me comments. This also helps my work to become visible. If you're interested in my physical creations, my music by Lavender Soul, which is the soundtrack to my bestseller, The Divine Principle, Anchoring Heaven on Earth, my children's book series, Eden Sky Wonders Why, as well as my book to South India to experience the divinity of this holy man behind me, Satya Sai Baba. You can go to KeithAnthonyBlanchard.com or centeroflightradio.com, same website. Click on the Creations tab. This is how you stay plugged into me in all of my works. So again, I really support you in checking out RPM, my lifelong work. Again, go to KeithAnthonyBlanchard.com. Click on the red Ferrari. It'll take you to another page, and it will tell you what you get and what you will create. I will give you a free session. You can send me an email at KeithAnthonyBlanchard@gmail.com and say, Keith, I want my free session. You can also say, in this forum, there's a notification button that says, notify me whenever Keith goes live. This is another way. Sue says, I know this sounds ridiculous, but the other night I dreamt I was a blue alien type person. It didn't freak me out. It felt so real. It was my eyes looking back at me. What do you think, Sue? I can tell you what I think. Chad says, I am emailing you. I want the full package. Think of Chad. We'll get in there, brother, and we'll start sculpturing. We'll start revealing. And Chad will be going, oh my God, this happened. His conviction shoots to the roof. This happens. Chad goes, oh my God, now this just happened. And this thing will begin to teeter-totter. So what do you think? It may sound ridiculous to other people. Trust me, it does not sound ridiculous to me. I played and have played and do play in these arenas. I have for many years and still do. I know this, she says, I know this sounds ridiculous, but the other night I dreamt I was a blue alien type person. It didn't freak me out. It felt so real. It was my eyes looking back at me. When I was in South India having an experience with this divine man, I had an experience. He touched my prayer bead, my japamala, and I shifted. I was me looking up at him, but I was also the divine looking down at the personality me. And there was an explosion, and I saw the birth of the universe. I know what you're saying is real, Sue. So absolutely. You said it. I felt it was me. Then that's all that needs to be said. You just said, I felt it was me. You don't need any further convincing. I know it was me when I had my experience with this divine man. It's all real. Though these things seem more far-fetched to most people, I'm here to tell you that the more far-fetched that these things sound, the more likeliness that they're possibly true. Because again, it takes us out of the box. I am willing to allow whatever it takes to happen for me to expand. Right? Welcome to 2018, y'all. Welcome to being well into the window of the 21st century. This is going to close my broadcast. Again, KeithAnthonyBlanchard.com. Click on the red Ferrari at the bottom of the opening page. It'll take you to my RPM program. I'd love to give you a free session. Send me an email at KeithAnthonyBlanchard@gmail.com. Say, Keith, I want a free session. Get out of the box. Dive in. Dive in and let go. Begin to take on your passion at moments at a time, if you can, only for now. And mean it. And then one day, 5, however long it takes you, years, it can happen in a moment, but however long it takes you, you will contact me and you say, Keith, guess what I'm doing? I say, living your passion? You say, yes, I have arrived to the top of the mountain. I am on the summit. Because you have summoned it. And I will bask in the bliss with you. And shout to the rest of the world on the mountaintop with you that you have made it. I'm making it now in my life. I am. I'm achieving lots of things that I desire from the outside world. But the levels of spiritual expansion that I'm beginning to experience within myself, consciously, in my thinking process, in my feeling base, in my levels of awareness, my dreamscape, it's because I want it. I desire it. And I have been affirming to the universe unconsciously because now it's on automatic pilot. But also when I can consciously, I shout with every fiber, every aspect of my being. I know nothing. Whatever it takes. And the answer in every aspect of my life is becoming a resounding, yes, you can have it. But we have to be it. Fall into your essence. Live in the light. Say yes to you. It is your turn. I love you.